Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Polov here, and today we are reacting to the news, the new rules of football in the World Cup. So, this is from a channel called CBS Sports Golazo. New 2026 World Cup rules changes everything. What a ChatGPT title! But let's check out what what the rules are now, the new rules. Link is in the description if you want to see it without my commentary. Come back to see my reaction, and let's jump right into it. This was a request from Whiplash, who says, the new rules have been added to the World Cup, and it's a pretty drastic change. How will this affect the way football is being played? In addition, they expect the halftime could be longer due to halftime shows. Yeah, I mean, football has become such a mainstream thing that music, halftime shows, all of those are going to be a big thing. And wait, I never heard of halftime shows in the World Cup. Was that a thing? I've never seen. I've seen like the opening ceremony, but I've never halftime shows. Never heard of that. That's an American thing, right? I think they're gonna add that. At least I don't remember any halftime shows. Never been a thing before, right? That's a American football thing. But hey, why not? Let's go.
Rules that are going to be implemented in the World Cup, starting off with the non-VAR changes. 10 seconds for subs, so substituted players must leave within 10 seconds of their replacement, otherwise they'll have to wait a minute to enter. 5-second start rule, referees can count down throw-ins and goal kicks. Failures to restart in time result in possession being lost. Injured players, outfield players who receive treatment must leave the pitch for 1 minute before returning. Goalkeeper injury stoppages. Players cannot use goalkeeper injury breaks to go to the touchline for coaching instructions. Mouth covering ban. Players who cover their mouth during a confrontation can be sent off with a red card. And also leaving in protest. Players who leave the pitch to a protest will receive a red card, and teams that cause a match abandonment can forfeit the game.
Do you guys agree with these rules? So I like some of the rules. Others I think will be interesting to see. You can't cover your mouth because, when you cover your mouth, people can't lip read and they can't know if you are being racist or whatever. So that's a good one. Um, I don't know. I got to look into what would be a bad one. But so far, I think the 10-second rule for subs is good because it's going to make the game go faster. People are not going to waste time. 5-second restarts, that's good. People are not going to waste time. Injured players leave the pitch for 1 minute, that's good. People are not going to waste time, or it's going to decrease the diving because a lot of people love diving and pretending that they're hurt. It's a good thing. No tactical timeouts for goalkeepers. No covering mouths. Player leaving pitch is given a red card. I don't like that because I don't like that too much. I don't know. It feels very forced because people are emotional, and if they want to protest, you know, they can, I suppose. It feels very forceful. You're gonna kick someone out because they're protesting. Listen, if he walks out the pitch, you shouldn't give him a red card. You just give him a timeout, let him stay, continue the game. The team is gonna lose a player, but giving him a red card, that feels like censorship. I don't know.
So we are going to be discussing all these rules, but firstly, focusing on the 10-second substitution rule.
That's a good point also, Whiplash. Too many rules. It's hard for the players to remember everything, especially if they have been playing for their whole lives. Now they have to take a crash course before starting the match. They are already preparing themselves mentally for the matches, physically, and now they got to study the new rules. They have to sit and literally study, and remember that. I think they should take it easy. There are these new rules. You're going to get warning. But come on. If the dude is like angry and he's like, oh, come on, and he leaves the pitch, he gets sent off immediately. No, there should be a warning. People need to get used to these new rules.
rule. Sub players have 10 seconds to leave the field at the nearest point of exit. If they don't, then the player due to come on must wait at least 1 minute
That is great.
to come on. So, Witten, we have seen this in the MLS since 2024. What do you make of this rule? Has it made a difference in the MLS?
I think.
Are these ideas from the United States? I feel like it's interesting. It will change the sport very much. It will look more like American football. It will look more like things that we see in the United States with hockey and all of the other matches or sports rather. But I like it. I like it. I like the fact that it has more control, because if you have the technology, then use it. You know, like the VAR. I like the fact that you can make the game fair.
It absolutely has made a difference. And I think the rule is mostly there as a deterrent. I don't think it's sort of strictly enforced where there's a countdown. There's someone saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, you're out for a minute. I think the idea of the rule is for players to not waste time. And
trust me, it's going to be just like hockey. There will be a timeout. Like there will be crazy stuff going on very strictly. Trust me, they will be strict with it.
if they do in sort of an egregious manner, then the rule sort of comes into effect. The question that I always have with any new rule implementation is how seriously and how strictly are they going to enforce these rules? Because I think we see all the time wasting occurring at international tournaments. We see all the time players taking, let me pull down my socks as I'm walking off the field. If you're going to actually say you have 10 seconds to get off the field, then you have 10 seconds to get off the field. If you're going to say with the other one that we see, which is you have 5 seconds for restarts to occur, that means that we're not setting up for a long throw.
Listen, just a few days ago in Brazilian football, there was a goalkeeper that took longer than 5 seconds, and the referee was like 5, 4, 3, 2, and the goalkeeper threw the ball on the floor rather than doing a kickoff, and then he took longer than 5 seconds. He got a yellow card.
Basically, with that
so
rule,
it's in effect already.
Long throws in the game. How often do we see in the Premier League teams take 40, 45 seconds to get a throw in into the field? If you're actually,
I think there will still be a long throw. I think as long as he's running, with it, there will be a long throw. Because I think if you're stopped and trying to, doing that, then you get countdown. But if you are running and it takes you 5 seconds to run, then that's fine, I think. As long as you're not static, as long as you're moving, that's fine, I think.
Which is, you have 5 seconds for restarts to occur, that means that we're not setting up for a long throw. That you basically, with that rule, eliminated long throws in the game. How often do we see in the Premier League teams take 40, 45 seconds to get a throw in into the field? If you're actually saying you're getting rid of these things, you have to strictly enforce them. And strictly enforce them at a time at which it will be inconvenient. If you're, let's say, I don't know, Cape Verde trying to lock down a result, it's 1-0, and you try and take every second off the clock. Are you going to say,
that makes sense,
that new player, you're going to be down to 10 for a minute in the 88th minute of a game that you're trying to win 1-0? If you're in the knockout round, if you're, a quarterfinal, you're Argentina trying to...
So what Whiplash is arguing here is that long throws only work and is effective if the defenders have time to move up to the opposite side. I guess that's right, yeah. So you do get rid of the long throw, at least as a strategy, That is interesting.
Ice a game. Are you going to say to Rodrigo de Paul or Lionel Messi or whomever, hey, you got to stay off the field for a minute because you faked an injury? Like, I really do wonder if in the actual crunch time, when it comes down to it in big games, if these rules are going to be strictly enforced or if they're there as a deterrent and hopefully you don't kind of have that confrontation.
No, they will.
Up against the rule.
They don't care if you're Messi or Ronaldo. They don't care who you are. I think they're going to enforce it.
You're talking about that I've seen and actually followed some of your broadcasts. And
don't forget that referees have egos too.
Against the rule.
I think one of the things that you're talking about that I've seen and actually followed some of your broadcasts in Major League Soccer is the key thing is the nearest possible exit. At the end of the day, the World Cup is a spectacle. we are football experts, we're football fans first and foremost, and so we get into the nitty gritty. You think of so many people in North America who have never seen a World Cup before. I think of family members I have, especially with my in-laws, who are waiting for this moment. They want to be entertained. They want that quicker pace to a game. You think of just the complaints about.
Oh, it's an algorithm thing. It needs to be crazy. Look, you know, another thing that will be missed is, you know, when a player is substituted, when he goes out and he's clapping to everyone, and what if it's his last match? He's clapping and then he, you know, kind of tags the player that's coming in. That's not going to happen anymore because it's your nearest exit. It's going to be very anticlimactic. He's just going to get. Sometimes you're not even going to notice. Let's say Neymar is playing his last match, Ronaldo is playing his last match, Messi is playing his last match, and then he is subbed out. He has to just walk off the pitch. You know, it's anticlimactic. I remember seeing so many different moments of, you know, the players just saying bye-bye, clapping, and then being subbed out. That's done with as well. You guys know what I'm saying?
Soccer in this country. It's too slow. There's just too much play acting. There's just too much this, and it's just.
And what he's saying here, it kind of bothers me. This World Cup is not for only a specific type of person. You know, it's not only for people who live in the United States. It's for the whole world, including them. So changing the whole game for an American viewership is crazy, especially because American viewership will be much less than the whole world. It's not only for one single country. It's for everybody involved. It's a worldwide event. And I'm telling you, American viewers will be very low in comparison to the whole world. I mean, the population of the United States is like 300 million. Europe has 800 million. Asia has more than 1 billion, you know. India has more than 1 billion. So, you know, they have to be careful if they change it too much, you know. They already messed up the first song. Shakira came in at the last minute, did a great song, and then IShowSpeed saved the World Cup song. So, you know, they got to be careful not to ruin the experience for us.
This complaint about slow, not entertaining. And so from that perspective, I think Major League Soccer is onto something where, of all the things you could say about MLS, you never complain about the fact that there's too much diving, the fact that players take their time getting off the pitch for me or something like that.
The sort of flip side to that, though, is sort of the purist argument.
Doesn't American football pause so much? I don't know why they like hate on football when like American football has so many pauses, like so many pauses. Like I repeat, so many pauses, like more pauses than I'm doing on this video. But it's still fun and entertaining, right? Because you get used to the sport, you get used to it. It's the same thing for us. You know, we're used to seeing people dive. We're used to seeing. What we're not used to seeing is people stop to drink water. Like, okay, fine, they got to rehydrate, but we're not used to seeing that. We like the whole system, but I think the rules are going to be nice. It's going to be a fast-paced show, but I don't know. I don't want it to be ADHD crazy, like, you know, Mr. Beast style. I don't know. We like football the way it is.
Well, this is part of the game. If you're someone from a traditional
part of the game.
football country, and for whom this is something to be appreciated, not something to be sort of rooted out of the game, you wonder if in other countries where the dark arts is kind of part of the joy of the game.
That's what I'm
these
saying.
These are basically rules legislating against the dark arts of games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
would say for someone that's been a part of that, though, when you're on the flip side of it, you absolutely hate it. If someone is up 1-0, and they're going down, slowing the game down, and there is no intensity or possibility to get back into the game because they're so good at controlling it.
I know, right?
I do love that, but on the 100% I've been
When you're the team
there, when you're, take as slow as you like. You know, you're telling teammates walk. walk to go and pick that ball up.
That's what I'm saying. We hate it when they do it against us, but we want our team to do it. Like when Brazil was against Croatia, if they had just walked, if they had just Neymar dive, whatever, it would have been a great victory for Brazil. But no, Brazil wanted to attack more. They wanted to push forward, and Croatia went and scored. That's what I'm saying. It's all about the tactics. Play dirty if you have to. I'm kidding, but I understand what she's saying.
It's so annoying when you watch that. You're like,
Right.
So it depends on what side you're on it, but I completely agree for spectators now, for the game to be as fast as possible and exciting. I think these are good.
But the thing that has happened, though, in MLS that we've seen is there have been goals that have been scored against teams that are temporarily down to 10 because a player took too long with an injury or took too long to come off the field. It has happened. And you wonder if and when that happens at a World Cup, what is the flashpoint? Because we saw in 2022 the adoption of stoppage time that is strict, meaning we give 13 minutes of stoppage time at the end of a game if the ball was out of play for 13 minutes. And then we kind of all went,
crazy.
is this what we want? We want 13 minutes of stoppage time in every game?
It's wild.
Right. So if what happens in a game is there is a scenario where a team gets scored against down to 10 at the FIFA World Cup, the biggest tournament for all 48 teams that are going to be there, are you going to say, well, what are we doing with these rules? The manager will definitely complain about it after the game. The players will complain about it. It'll be a talking point on all the debate shows immediately after. Does FIFA sort of have the gumption to keep going with it?
Yeah. Well, another rule that has been implemented.
And please, do not add all the ad breaks. I hate it when you're watching something like they pause the game and then they put some ads. They run commercials in the middle of like an event. And I was watching the Brazilian team against Panama, and they were showing like ads in the middle. Like I was like, wait, aren't we supposed to be watching the game? Isn't the game going on? And no, it was a hydration moment. They had to stop to drink water. And we were seeing ads, commercial breaks in the middle of, like, after 25 minutes of a match. Please don't do that to football.
For this World Cup are hydration breaks. So we're going to be
There we
taking a
go.
look to see what that exactly
That's what I'm
entails for
talking
this
about.
summer's tournament. So there will be 3 minutes allowed in each half, around the 22nd minute, for a hydration break due to the extreme temperatures in the host countries. Jen, talking from a player perspective, how do you think these hydration breaks will affect the momentum of the games? Because we even saw it in the Champions League final, didn't we, between Arsenal and PSG? There was a hydration break in that game, and it did.
I'm not that old, but in my time, when I was growing up, we didn't have hydration clauses. Such an unk thing to say.
Kind of kill the momentum.
Yeah, this one is interesting.
Yeah,
so I think
listen, my wife doesn't watch football as much as I do. And she was like, don't they cool down? I mean, it's going to cool down the game, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to cool down the game. This is the worst one. Yeah, I hate this one. This one is the one I hate.
Hydration break in that game, and it did kind of kill the momentum.
Yeah, this one is interesting because I think in so many different ways you can look at it differently, and I think momentum is the biggest one. If I'm a player on the pitch and we are absolutely flying, the last thing I want is a 3-minute break for the team opposition to have 3 minutes.
Who calls
to
the
figure out
breaks? The
why it's
referee?
happening.
Or are they going to put
it's
timeouts
totally
in the
different ways.
middle?
Of course, performance, hydration break is important if it's really hot, and you need those breaks to, reset, regroup,
But not every
get
match.
whatever you need in to continue the rest of the half. And then on the flip side, if I'm a player on the pitch and something's not quite working out, I'm so grateful that I've got those 3 minutes coming up to talk to my teammate, to talk to my manager, to have those little conversations. And effectively, if it still makes the first 45 minutes.
Listen, I grew up in Africa. You think we had hydration breaks? No, you think we didn't have water. That's what you think. Dude, listen. Never mind. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Really, really intense and still at the highest because of that 3 minutes and doesn't disrupt the rest of the half. It doesn't allow other players to go down. I personally think it's a positive.
Yeah,
This was Poch.
Yeah, this was. Look, as a football enthusiast, and maybe I'm just a football purist, I don't like the amount of hydration breaks. And what you talked about,
I don't
where
like it either.
The stadiums are being played.
You know, in Norwegian football, Heia Norge, I'm sure you guys will start having a warm-up break where everybody just has 3 minutes to have some coffee. You know, in Sweden, you have some fika and then just put a blanket on top of you. I think that's going to be a new thing. Just a little bit of coffee in the middle. So in the UK, they're going to have biscuits and tea. Yeah, it's going to have a tea break in the middle of the competitive match. Dude, oh man, that's the one that is negative. I like the rules, but that one, nah, not for me.
This is an overcorrection for me from the FIFA Club World Cup, where last summer we heard Jude Bellingham complain about it. We saw videos of Borussia Dortmund players sitting in the locker room watching other teams play because, yeah, it's hot here in North America, but you also correct it by putting games in stadiums in hot places that have a roof over their heads. So I don't like it because it's changing the way football is actually played. This reminds me, I think we're going to see a part of football at a point almost look like basketball, where the game is going to be split in almost four quarters.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
What have you ever
That
seen
sucks.
a manager have time? Is it 3 minutes?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time in a football match. A manager has 3 minutes to pull out a laptop and then go through PowerPoint slides, tactic boards. It's not football.
Yeah.
For me, it's a way too big of an overcorrection.
Yeah, and look, in
I
games
agree.
in which
I
it is
agree.
that hot outside, it makes total sense. But you're sort of right to point out. You look at the schedule for the first few days of the World Cup. I'm actually a little bit worried about the opener. It's in the middle of the day at the Azteca. But after that, here are the afternoon kickoffs at the World Cup. Second day, Canada against Bosnia-Herzegovina at BMO Field in Toronto. It's not going to be that hot there. 3 o'clock kickoff in Santa Clara in California. It just doesn't get that hot in the Bay Area. 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. at Energy Stadium and AT&T Stadium, roofs over the heads. 12 and
You guys have been fooled. These are not hydration breaks. These are ad breaks. These are ad breaks, which is disguised as hydration for the health and safety of the players. These are ad breaks. These are moments that you can sell to sponsors so you can make more money out of it. That's the truth. These are ad breaks. They're ad breaks. Why ads? Profit. Profit, because the game is stopped. What are you going to do? You're going to watch people drink water? No, you're going to sell water. You're going to sell the products that you can even sell Red Bull. Hey, they're hydrating with Prime. Listen, these are moments that the game has stopped, so you can put some ads in. You know, you can sell some stuff. It's all a big, it's a big commercial event now. Unfortunately, that is the hidden truth. Allegedly.
3, Atlanta and Seattle. Heat not going to be a concern. 3
That's my
p.m.
opinion.
East Rutherford, maybe in New Jersey, it can be hot during the day. But if you look at the early parts of the tournament, they have scheduled this tournament well in terms of putting dome stadiums and milder climates in the afternoon and the warmer climates in the evening where, yes, it is still hot, but it's not quite as oppressive with the sun going down. So I think this is an overcorrection. And let's be very clear that one of the things that you can do from this, beyond the fact that it's a tactical break, is it can also be a commercial break. And this is the introduction of commercials, we think, into the middle of a football match. I think that's sort of what is creeping into the game here.
Is it hydration or?
I have never watched this video before, but every time I pause and talk, they get into that topic. It feels like I'm in the debate room with them. It's a commercial break. That's why. Literally. Unfortunately. And there are going to be halftime shows now. This is going to become, well, at least for the United States, it's going to become another Super Bowl cash cow. It's definitely going to become, it already is a cash cow.
A tactical break, because it's saying hydration break, but 3 minutes is too long for me. First and foremost, that's become exactly what you're saying.
You hear that, fellas? 3 minutes is too long. Oh, okay. We're back in the game. Oh gosh.
Game here.
Is it hydration or a tactical break? Because it's saying hydration break, but 3 minutes is too long for me. First and foremost,
Cheers.
That's become exactly what you're saying. It's way more than a hydration break. Should be 90 seconds max. And the game restarts. When it's becoming laptops out, watching clips, it's going back to 4 quarters basketball. That's far too long. That breaks up the play. I think a hydration break, 90 seconds max.
Especially when the other rules that we talked about are meant to speed the game up, have more action.
90 seconds is too long. Hydration break. "20 seconds max."
And then you're just taking
You know how marathon runners hydrate? They run or walk or jog or whatever. Get the cup, put it over their face, drink a little bit, and continue going. That takes 5 seconds.
the other rules that we talked about are meant to speed the game up, have more action. And then you're just taking a complete break in the middle of the game when the whole game is about flow. It is about the ebbs and flows over 45 minutes. And the players having to figure it out for themselves on the field. And if you can't, your opponent will beat you. And I think that's such a key part of the game that you lose here. And it now becomes a key part of the strategy. I actually thought we showed the clip Sarah Pochettino watching on the laptop. In the March window, when they played Belgium and Portugal, the U.S. kind of got slaughtered after the hydration breaks in both of those games where they couldn't adjust. It now becomes a part of the game, which is completely unforeseen in previous versions of football.
Just very quickly for me, Hannah, I know you want to jump in here. One thing that is going to be the elephant in the room from this World Cup going into the Premier League season, they dubbed it the anti-Arsenal rule, is you can now have the chance as a referee to go back in VAR set-piece situations.
Yes,
you think of what that could change, not just in the World Cup.
Before it's taken.
Before it's taken. You go back to the West Ham match, how significant that was. That could have decided the Premier League on that day. That is one to watch at this World Cup and also moving.
You know what's interesting? VAR will be allowed to incorrectly awarded corner kicks, but not corner kicks that was incorrectly given as a goal kick. So at least that's the rule I saw, that they can give or they can revert incorrectly given corner kicks, but they don't give incorrectly, they don't check incorrectly given goal kicks, which is interesting. Why not? That is interesting, isn't it? So if a corner kick is given incorrectly, that is a risk of a goal, right? They can revert that. But if the goal kick is given incorrectly, they don't revert that. That would have been an opportunity of a goal. So I don't understand why. Like, both of them are kind of like giving the opportunity or taking away the opportunity of a goal. So they both should be awarded. I don't understand that. I don't know why. Do you guys know? Do you agree?
Forward in the league.
Yeah, so these are all the new rules that implement VAR. So incorrectly awarded corner kicks, as long as it doesn't delay the restart. Any attacking fouls that happen before players started. That's an interesting one, as you mentioned, Lahoud, because so many corners now in the world of football are very physical. Review of second yellow cards. So if a red card is issued from the second yellow that is clearly incorrect, the VAR can then intervene. And also mistaken identity. So when a player is punished with a yellow card or a red card for a foul committed by another player.
Thanks for watching this video.
There are so many other rules that they didn't mention. They didn't touch upon some other rules. For example, the last man. They won't give a red card if there's a foul on the last man, as long as the last man scores, because he didn't avoid the goal or he didn't get in the way of the goal. So if you foul the last man and he manages to, like, there's an advantage, the referee gives an advantage, and he goes and he scores, then he doesn't get a card. He doesn't get sent off the defender. But if he does get the last man and there is no goal, then he's sent off. That's fair, but it will increase the fouls, I guess. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because imagine you try to get down the last man, you fail at it, and then you're on the floor looking up saying, please score, please score. I don't want to get sent off. You're cheering for the guy to score so that you won't get sent off. It's kind of like a weird thing going on there. Anyways, I have talked so much in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I'm excited for the World Cup, even though some of these rules are weird and I don't want football to change. But I do want some of the weird stuff to stop happening as well, like time wastage, diving. I never like those things, and I think these new rules will help with that. If you want to request a video, go over to Buy Me Coffee. Link is in the pinned comments, and I'll see you soon. Let me know who you think is going to win the World Cup. Take care. Bye-bye.